Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's going on out there today? Hey, it's Brent Abel here, WebTennis.com. Let's see if I can get a little more light here on the old noggin. I guess that's a little better. Hope you guys are doing well. My apologies for being late today. Typically, I'm doing a pre-record. At least the last couple of weeks, doing a pre-record. But I got engrossed with the Sinner Medvedev match, and I know that finished a while ago, but I had it on. I had it on record. I was out in the yard doing some work. Anyway, so here I am, and look, the title of this of today's is a practice session mindset. Let me get this a little better here. Um, yeah, today, I mean, I had a good 2 hour workout today on the grass here at Mission Hills Country Club with one of my regular practice partners, the Big O, and typically today is one of those days where we have a good lather warm up, right? We probably warmed up for a good solid 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, hit a bunch of grass strokes, hit a bunch of cross courts, hit some up the lines. Um, and they had a lot of overheads, took some serves, and then we decided to play some points. And the way that we normally do it is one of us will serve for about 15 minutes, right? We just go from the deuce ad, back and forth, all singles points. We don't keep score. And the reason I like that is that we're playing points. So we are being competitive in terms of the point, but allows me to be able to really have a focus, a singular focus on one thing that I want to work on. And and so, hey Ken, nice to see you. Thanks for getting on the feed today. That's cool. Um, and so it helps me really because we're not keeping score, but we are playing points. Again, like I said, I now have a singular focus for what I'm going to do in this practice session. And in prior years, what I've done is I said, all right, well, here's my focus today, and my focus today would be okay. I'd work on that one thing for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I kind of get bored with it, and then move on to something else. But what I found over the years is that if I stick with that one thing, whatever it is, even if it's not working. And typically, what would happen in the past is I'd come out with that one thing, and it would maybe work a little bit, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't start working at all, and I just go, screw it, I'm gonna go do something else. But what I found over the years is that even I almost look forward to those times when it's not working for a couple of minutes, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 points or whatever it is that my focus is, and and I love the discipline, that exercise of sticking with it, sticking through it, and not going, "Hey, I'm going to go off and do something else." And so today was that thing, and my focus today was, if you guys have been with me for a while, I talk about the look of Fed, which is how Roger used to show it. And now we see Alcaraz do this a lot as well. I've seen Rafa do it. I've seen other players do it too. Even Medvedev on his forehand, where at contact, the head is really aligned with contact. The eyes are looking down at contact, and the head does not move as they go out through the finish, right? So it's the no peeking, PEEK kind of exercise. And that might sound like a negative. I suppose maybe there's a better term for it. But for me, it's like I like to exaggerate that look of Fed. And hey, Rich, nice to have you uh, join me today. That's cool. Yeah. And so what I did today was I really over exaggerated the look of Fed. So I did it on all the shots, even on the serve, right? Where the ball's up there and really just keeping the eyes and the head up through contact longer than what would feel natural, longer than what my instincts might say. Return a serve, really just go ahead. I'm just thinking about two things. Number one, shoulder turn. Can I get instantly turned to my right or to my left, depending on if it's a forehand or backhand, and then just really over exaggerate that look of Fed, right? Of not peaking. And I just found today everything else kind of dropped into this nice kind of comfortable feeling on the court. Um, and so what I would encourage you to do is the next time you have a practice session, and this is, I mean, this requires that you've got a practice partner who's willing to do this, where what we did today was the good warm up lather, 15, 20 minutes, take a 2-minute break. Then one of you guys serves for 15 minutes, right? I mean, maybe that doesn't sound very, but if you don't take a break for 15 minutes and you serve points, my God, that's a lot of tennis right there. So we go for about 15 minutes. I'm sorry, I get the nasal. Been out with the yard with the lemon tree, pruning the lemon tree, and which had gotten out of control this year. So I got a little stuff going on there. But and then we'll take a little break after 15 minutes, and then the other guy serves for 15 minutes. Deuce, add, deuce, add. But all I thought today was over exaggerating the look of Fed, not just the look of Fed. I mean, just but really seeing how long could I keep my eyes down, my head still, and go out to the finish, feel the ball. And what I eventually kind of dropped into today was that feeling like I can exaggerate this so much that at contact, I can actually feel. I can feel direction. I can feel height above the top of the net. I can feel the quality of the spin. I can feel depth. Um, and even when the Big O would come in and play some serve and volley, which he did for one of his serving sessions for maybe, I don't know, 20 points. That's a time when maybe when you're the returner, when you don't go into exaggerating that look of Fed because your thought is, well, I got to get ready so early because the guy's moving in. And so today it just kind of felt like, no, let's over exaggerate it. And my whole thing, well, strategically, what do you like to do when a guy serves and volleys? I like to be able to play the ball right at the middle of his feet, right? Which means maybe a little bit slower swing speed, um, just so the ball will kind of fall off the table at his feet, make him volley up. Occasionally you get a ball where you can go to one of the sides over there, but the feeling when I'm returning, when the guy was serving and volleying and over exaggerating look at Fed, I just kept going, my God, I've got way more time than I think I need to get ready for whatever is coming back, whether it's a volley, whether it's a half volley or something like that. Because when you're over exaggerating that no peaking thing, if you're really locked into the feeling of what the ball does when it compresses against your racket, whether it's underspin, whether it's flat, whether it's a top spin, if you're really in tune without having to get visual confirmation of the shot that you've just hit or the ball's leaving your racket, I think what you'll find, I mean, I just felt like for a while today I couldn't miss a ball. And so that's a pretty good feeling. That's a pretty darn good feeling. And so whether that's what you work on next time when you're on the practice court, that's up to you. But I would tell you, find one thing and decide on that day that you're just going to stick with that one thing rather than sort of having a list of 3, 4, 5 things. Well, here are the things I want to work on today. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I just stick with one thing for the day. I just think it makes so much more sense because you're getting so many repeats on that one thing. You're getting so much myelination opportunity on that one thing. And I just believe in that. I believe in the Daniel Coyle, um, the Talent Code book. If you haven't read that book, you got to get it. The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle, which really does a great layman's explanation of myelination, how that whole thing works. And maybe as we get older, it doesn't work as well when we're younger, but I still have this belief that if I continue to just work on that one thing over and over and over again, I'm myelinating all those neurological firing things. Yeah, look at me. I can't even say what it is. However, I think it works. There you go. Yeah, Rich, thanks. And so that's why I like to stick with one thing. And, I mean, tomorrow I'll go out and maybe I'll do the same thing. Why not? If everything else is kind of falling into place when you focus on that one thing, which happened to me today, why not keep working on that for a while, until you really start to feel like this is becoming really comfortable, right? This is really becoming, you know, lack of a better term, kind of automatic. Um, so to me, that's really a trust thing. That whole look of Fed is such a trust thing that I don't have to look up number one prematurely or right at contact to get visual confirmation of what's just left my racket. I don't know if about you, but for me, it's like it's a big trust thing. And you know, you can go back and look at Fed videos on YouTube, and you can see it all day long. I see Carlos do it now. Um, it just shocks me at that level where the ball speeds are so high. They are getting the ball back there so quickly. It just seems like God, there would be no time at that level, even if it's from baseline to baseline. And yet, these guys look to me as if they're prepped, so early, right? Looks like they're waiting there with the racket in the racket ready prep position. I don't know. It just and yet they're doing that without having to peak um, at the shot they just played. Anyway, I hope you get my drift today. So look, it's supposed to rain here this weekend. California, I think the whole state of California is supposed to get some pretty serious weather this weekend. So it'll be a gym day for me tomorrow. I'm going to overdo it. Talk about over exaggerating. If we get rained out tomorrow, I'm definitely going to overdo it in the gym, which overdoing it in the gym for me is not, is not crazy, but it's Rich pouring up there in NorCal right now in the gym. Oh, well, maybe it's moving down this way. Um, yeah, just have tennis channel on tomorrow. I got a gym set up in my garage. I don't have a lot of equipment in there, but I've got enough that I can do different things. I'm not locked into having to do the same thing day in and day out. Got the stationary bike, which I love. Um, get some cardio going, get some anaerobic stuff going. Got a little cycle I do on that, like a 3-minute cycle. And then I've got that. I got the cable weight machine, which is so versatile. There's so many things you can do with that. There's so many attachments. I'm probably using 1% of the capability of that machine for the little circuit I go through. Jeff Jackless turned me onto the battle rope, which is a jump rope, but my God, it's really thick and it's heavy. I'll do that. What have I got? I've got that little band that I put around my knees and go side to side stretches. That stretch band, that's a great one. I do a lot of squats. I do a lot of volley lunges, forehand volley, backhand volley. Um, and that'll just be tomorrow. That'll probably take me 75 minutes, and then for the next 30 minutes, I've got a circuit of stretching. That for me, I have to really be diligent with stretching out my hamstrings. Not only stretching them, but using the Theragun on them, because if I don't, especially the lower right side of my back, there's something going on there. I don't know, some nerve gets pinched in there. I think it's the piriforma area. So if I use the Theragun on my hamstrings, a couple 2 or 3 times a day on that 2400 speed, which is just like beating you up, I just find that it softens up, stretches out that hamstring enough to where um, I'm not bent over backwards. A lot of the reason is because I sit. I'm doing a little bit more work in the last 18 months, pumping out more content for What's the Right Shot, doing more in the afternoon stuff for the Tennis Mindset Project. So I'm sitting more than I used to for the last maybe couple of years. So I've got to be smart about making sure I get up and don't sit in one position for too long. But for sure, the hamstrings for me get a lot of stretch, and I do some lower back stretches as well. So hey, I'm just blathering on here. All right, I got things to do. I hope this has been helpful today. Um, Guys, thanks for hanging out. And yeah, hope this was helpful. Let me know on your practice sessions, maybe what's one thing that you feel that that you really need to practice, and whether it's technique, maybe it's footwork, maybe it's a pattern, a shot pattern. maybe it's working on disguise. Maybe it's working on, swing direction. I know for me that sometimes I get a little sloppy with my Rich is going with the transition game. Yeah. Let me address that in just a second, Rich. But for me, sometimes I get a little sloppy with the underspin backhand where I open up the shoulders a little bit too early and I come across the ball too much from left to right. Got to really make sure that I stay sideways through that swing. That's a linear, slightly low to high to address the ball, but then it's a linear finish, which is forward and just trusting that the ball's not going to sail deep. I don't need to come across it to try to come off it in terms of worrying about the baseline over there. Rich is talking about the transition game, which to me, Rich, starts with, are you serving? And if you're not going to serve volley, are you serving and staying in a foot or two inside the baseline? Are you hitting your ground strokes if you're in a baseline rally and not backing up behind the baseline? Meaning that, are you always looking for something that is approachable, right? Are you looking for the possibility of short ball? Transition game to me is really keeping a guy out of the corners over there and really going high and deep right up the middle and forcing them to have footwork to get out of the way of your shot rather than much easier footwork to get over to the ball. And so I just find like I get shorter ball opportunities if I go pretty big, safe target, lowest part of the net, but good height, good roll, good underspin skid, whatever it is, over the center strap. And I just find that guys don't do as well getting out of the way of an incoming ball as they do moving over to the left or right. And if you start getting too greedy to a corner, all right, you might stretch a guy out once in a while, but you're going to be flirting with that sideline too much and missing. And I know the feeling. I know the feeling is, oh my God, I want to be able to go up the line. I want to go cross court so big the guy doesn't touch it. Just a recipe for too many unforced errors. You might ding a winner now and then, and get that high off of doing that, but that's the thing that keeps you coming back, and just too many unforced errors in that part of the court. So in terms of transition game, and look, Rich, I would also tell you too on that second serve when you're returning is look to chip and charge. Look to chip and charge right up the middle, right at the guy. And now all of a sudden you're close to the tee and the angles aren't as great as if you go up the line, you go to a corner. And if the guy backs up, plays it right at you, why not play a drop volley? That's always available. Always available. So yeah, love the chip and charge. Beautiful. Keep the pressure on them. I mean, keep the pressure on them in terms of forcing them to have to pass you. And the words of Mr. Stowe, God damn it, Mr. Abel, it's just a hell of a lot more fun to play this way. All right. I get it. All right, guys. That's it. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for hanging out. And any more questions or comments or feedback, write down below in the comments area. Let me know. I will respond to them. Yeah, love to do that. Or if you want to keep the conversation private, just shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. Guys, that's it. Time for all of us. We got to get out there. We got to help another human being have a spectacular day. Guys, see you again next time.